Here is another elapsed time problem that I want to show you. So let's go ahead and read this problem. Miss Cyril ended softball practice at 6:45 p.m. If her team practiced for 2 hours, what time did practice start? I'm going to go ahead and circle my important numbers. In this case, I'm going to circle 6:45 p.m. and I'm going to circle 2 hours. I'm going to underline my question, which is what time did practice start? I'm going to put a box around the important math words. In this case, ended is an important word because it's telling me something is over or something is finished. Practiced is also an important math word because it tells me that someone is doing something for a certain amount of time. If you remember, we talked about how important math words do not always have to be a math word or a word that we would call a math vocabulary word. Sometimes it's just a word that you have to think about that helps you understand the situation and what's going on. And start is important because we want to know what time something is beginning. And if there's another word up here that you're thinking, I would box that myself. If this were me, that's okay. It's okay for you to be solving a problem just a little bit differently than I am. Since I'm trying to find what time practice started, that's telling me that this is an elapsed time problem. So I'm going to write the word start and I'm going to write the word end up here. And if I go back and I reread the problem, Ms. Cyril ended softball practice at 6:45 p.m. So I know my end time is 6:45 p.m. And if her team practiced for 2 hours, what time did practice start? So I'm looking for the start time. I am not given the start time. I'm just given the end time and the number of Scoopies to draw. In this case, if practice lasted for 2 hours, I need to draw 2 Scoopies. And so I'm going to go ahead and draw those. There's my first Scoopie. And I'm going to need to write a time in at the end of that Scoopie. I'm going to draw my second Scoopie. And I kind of missed my line there. There's my second Scoopie. 1, 2 Scoopies. And then I'm going to fill in the times by skip counting. So after 6:45, well, if I'm looking for my start time, I'm going to have to skip count backwards. So I'm really going to have to stop and think as I do this. 1 hour before 6:45, because we're counting backwards, is 5:45. 6, if you're counting backwards in your head, 5 comes before 6. And then 1 hour before 5:45 is 4:45. And I'm putting that at the end of my second Scoopie. And I'm just going to double check my problem then. I have my end time. And that matches. I'm going to check. I practiced for 2 hours. I've got 1 Scoopie, 2 Scoopies. So what time did practice start? Practice started at 4:45 p.m.